Don't worry, everyone, we'll cover her portion. She's been having a hard time. My Aunt Carol's voice cut through the restaurant like a knife. Every head at the table turned toward me. Some looked pitiful, some smirked. A few nearby tables went quiet, clearly listening. My face burned. What she didn't know was, I'd just closed a $50,000 deal that morning. My name's Sophia. I'm 26 years old. I've spent the last 2 years building a digital marketing consulting business from scratch. It's not flashy. I don't post about it on Instagram with champagne bottles and designer bags. I don't show up to family dinners in luxury cars. But it's real, it's profitable, and it's growing. I grew up as the quiet one in a family obsessed with appearances. My parents divorced when I was young, and my grandmother raised me. She passed 2 years ago, and ever since, my family's treated me like I'm one step away from falling apart. They measure success in followers and luxury purchases. I measure it in freedom and the skills I've built with my own hands. They see me as lesser. No designer labels, practical apartment, simple lifestyle. They don't ask questions. They just assume. And that assumption? It was about to cost them everything. If you've ever been pushed aside by family, subscribe right now and tell me where you're watching from. Because what happened next changed everything. The night started with a group text. Carol's 50th B-Day dinner, A-Year Marcello's tonight, 7 p.m. That was it. No personal invitation, no, hope you can make it. Just a last-minute afterthought in a chain with 12 other people. I almost didn't go. But I thought, maybe this time it'd be different. Maybe they'd actually ask how I was doing. Maybe they'd see me. I was wrong. I walked into Marcello's wearing a simple black blouse and slacks. Professional, clean, comfortable. The kind of thing I'd wear to a client meeting. My cousin Brittany spotted me first. "Oh, you actually came?" She looked me up and down. "Thought you'd be too busy with your little online thing." She said it like I sold phone cases on Facebook Marketplace. I smiled, didn't bite. Wouldn't miss it. The table was loud. Expensive wine already flowing. Everyone talking over each other about vacations, renovations, cars they were buying. Uncle Dave leaned toward me halfway through the appetizers. "Still doing freelance stuff?" he asked with this condescending tilt of his head. "When are you getting a real job?" I tried to explain. "Actually, I run a consulting business. I help companies build their digital..." Aunt Carol cut me off with a wave of her hand. "That's nice, honey, but we're talking about actual careers." She turned immediately to Brittany. "Tell everyone about your promotion, sweetheart." Brittany beamed. "I'm now Senior Marketing Coordinator." It sounded impressive. What she didn't mention? Her dad owns the company. She got handed the title with 0 experience. But everyone clapped, toasted her, told her how amazing she was. I sat there, invisible. Then the check came. Aunt Carol stood up like she was giving a speech at an award ceremony. "Before we split this," she said loudly, "I want to acknowledge that Sophia's here tonight." My stomach dropped. "I know things have been hard since your grandmother passed." Her voice dripped with fake sympathy. "Money's tight, I'm sure." The table went silent. "So don't worry about the bill, sweetie. We know you're struggling. We'll cover your portion. Family takes care of family." I felt every eye on me. The couple at the next table glanced over. The waiter froze, clearly uncomfortable. Brittany leaned in with this sickeningly sweet smile. "It's really brave of you to still come to these things." My hands shook. But it wasn't shame anymore. It was rage. The humiliation didn't stop there. After Aunt Carol's little charity announcement, the conversation kept rolling right over me like I wasn't even there. "So we're all set for Turks and Caicos in March, right?" Brittany said, scrolling through her phone. I blinked. Wait. What? She didn't even look up. Oh. Sorry, Soph. We thought you'd be too busy. Plus, she trailed off meaningfully. Cousin Jake jumped in. Yeah, it's like $3,000 per person just for the villa share. Everyone nodded at me with these pitying expressions. Like I was a rescue dog they felt bad for. They hadn't invited me because they assumed I couldn't afford it. I clenched my jaw and stayed quiet. Then I tried again. Actually, I said louder this time, I wanted to share some good news I got today. Aunt Carol patted my hand like I was a child. That's sweet, but let's focus on real accomplishments tonight. She pivoted right back to praising Brittany's fake promotion. Uncle Dave leaned back in his chair, lecturing me like I was 12. See, Sophia, that's what happens with a real company. Benefits, security, a future. He gestured at Brittany. Maybe she could put in a word for you. Get you an entry-level position? Brittany smirked. I mean, we do have openings in customer service. The table laughed. Not with me. At me. I felt my nails digging into my palms under the table. Then Aunt Carol started talking about her Instagram. I've been landing some great brand partnerships lately, she said, flipping her hair. It's really taking off. I stared at her. I knew exactly why it was taking off. 4 months ago, she'd asked me for help. Just some quick tips, she'd said. You know social media stuff, right? I'd spent hours creating a complete strategy for her. Content calendar, caption formulas, hashtag research, posting schedules, everything. For free. Because she was family. And now she was making money off it. Aunt Carol, I said carefully, I'm glad that Instagram strategy I created for you is working. She waved me off. Oh, honey, I hired a real professional for that, but thanks for your suggestions. I froze. That was a lie. A blatant, shameless lie. Brittany backed her up immediately. Mom's consultant charges $5,000 a month, clearly not the same as free advice. Something inside me snapped. I'd been silent for too long, let them disrespect me for years. But I thought about that morning. The contract I'd signed, the $15,000 deposit sitting in my account, the email I'd gotten that afternoon. I reached for my phone. They wanted public humiliation? Fine. I'd give them public. What they didn't know was that I'd spent the last 2 years building something real. While they were posting luxury purchases made on credit cards, I was building a sustainable business with actual revenue. That morning, before I even walked into this restaurant, I'd closed a consulting contract with a major tech company, $50,000 for a 6-month digital overhaul project. Renewable. The down payment? Already in my account. $15,000. And that wasn't even the best part. That afternoon, I'd been named to the industry's 30 under 30 consultants to watch list. My name, my photo, listed among rising professionals in digital marketing. The little online thing they'd mocked all night? It was generating 6 figures a year. I had CEOs and marketing directors in my network. Real connections, real clients, a real reputation in circles that actually mattered. And Aunt Carol's Instagram success? I had proof. Every email, every text, every strategy document I'd created for her. Saved, time-stamped, dated. Her $5,000 a month consultant didn't exist. I'd stayed quiet for 2 years because I genuinely didn't need their validation. But public humiliation demanded public correction. What they didn't know was that I had everything I needed to flip this entire dinner upside down, and it would take less than 5 minutes. My phone buzzed. I glanced down. A text from James, my business partner. Just saw the 30 under 30 feature. Congrats. You're about to be flooded with clients. Another one came in. Diana, a CEO I'd met at a conference last month. Saw you made the list. Well deserved. Let's schedule that call about the project we discussed. I looked up at the table. They were still talking, still laughing, still acting like I didn't exist. Aunt Carol ordered another bottle of expensive dessert wine to celebrate properly. She made a toast to real success and to family who've actually made it. She didn't even glance at me. Uncle Dave got louder, more obnoxious. You know what your problem is, Sophia? He pointed at me with his wine glass. No ambition, no vision. You think small. Brittany was filming Instagram stories now, angling the camera to deliberately exclude me. She posted it in real time. I saw the notification. Family dinner with the successful ones? I watched her post it, and I smiled. The waiter brought the check. $634. Aunt Carol made a big show of pulling out her black Amex card. She looked directly at me with exaggerated kindness. Don't worry, sweetie, we've got this. All of it. I took a deep breath. Then I placed my own credit card firmly on the table. The conversation stopped. Everyone stared. Actually, I said calmly, I'll handle the entire check tonight. Aunt Carol laughed. That's not necessary, honey. We know you can't. I insist, I interrupted. It's the least I can do. I pulled out my phone and opened my banking app. But before I do that, I said, there's something I need to show all of you. I stood up. For the first time all night, I had everyone's full attention. My hands were shaking slightly, but my voice was steady. I've sat quietly all night while you talked about success. Now it's my turn. I opened my email and turned the screen toward the table. This morning, before coming here, I signed a $50,000 contract with a tech company for digital consulting. I showed them the confirmation email. The client's name was right there. A company every single one of them recognized. Aunt Carol's smile faltered. Well, I'm sure that's nice, but this afternoon, I continued, not letting her finish, I was named to the industry's 30 under 30 consultants to watch list. I showed them the email. My name, my photo, highlighted. The entire table went silent. Uncle Dave tried to recover. Well, one contract doesn't necessarily mean. I cut him off. First time in my life I'd ever interrupted him. One contract? Uncle Dave, I run a 6-figure consulting business. I have 15 active clients across 4 industries. I looked directly at him. That little online thing you mocked 5 times tonight? It's more successful than any of you realized, because you never actually asked. I pulled up my professional Instagram. 10,000 followers, glowing client testimonials, industry recognition. Brittany's face went pale. Her influencer account had barely 2,000 followers. Then I turned to Aunt Carol. And since we're talking about Instagram success, I pulled up the email chain from 4 months earlier, showed the table the detailed strategy document I'd created, every tactic, every formula, time-stamped, dated, unmistakably mine. Aunt Carol, you said you hired a real professional for $5,000 a month. Want to tell everyone here the truth? She stammered. I don't. That was just some basic advice you. I read directly from my own email. Quote, here's your complete content calendar, caption formulas, optimal posting times, #research, and engagement strategy. I scrolled through her recent posts, comparing them line by line. You didn't hire anyone. You used my work, made money from my strategy, and tonight you called me a charity case in front of everyone. Uncle Dave tried to shut me down. Sophia, this is completely inappropriate. My voice rose slightly. What's inappropriate is publicly humiliating family, but you all seemed very comfortable doing that to me. I handed my credit card to the waiter. He'd been watching the whole thing, trying not to smile. Charge the full $634 to this card, and please add a 25% tip. He took it, immediately, nodded with respect. I turned back to the table. I can afford it, easily. I've been able to for a while now. You just never bothered to notice. I looked at Aunt Carol. And for the record, you owe me $5,000 in consulting fees. I'll send a professional invoice Monday morning. Then at Brittany. That entry-level customer service position? I make more in 1 month than you'll see in 6. Hard pass. I picked up my bag. The family sat frozen, mouths open, scrambling for words that wouldn't come. The older woman at the next table gave me a subtle thumbs up. The waiter came back with my receipt. He leaned in and said quietly, "Good for you." I signed it. Then I looked at the table one last time. "Enjoy your dessert wine. I have a client call at 8 a.m. tomorrow with a real company." I walked toward the exit, head high, shoulders back. Behind me, I heard stammering, excuses, shocked silence. I didn't look back. I didn't need to. I sat in my car in the parking lot for a full minute, hands trembling from adrenaline. Not shame, not fear. Power. My phone started buzzing immediately. Aunt Carol. That display was completely uncalled for and disrespectful. Uncle Dave. You embarrassed your aunt in public. Apologize. I deleted both without responding. Blocked their numbers. Then one more text came in. From Cousin Jake, who'd been quiet all night. That was honestly badass. They've had that coming for years. Proud of you. I smiled, texted him back a quick thank you. Then I drove home to my modest 1-bedroom apartment. It's not flashy. It's not impressive by their standards. But it's mine. Paid for with money I earned. I sat on my couch and just breathed. For years, I'd believed their version of me. Struggling, less than, barely getting by. Tonight, I finally understood. They needed me to fail so they could feel successful. I checked my email before bed. 3 new client inquiries, all referencing the 30 under 30 feature. My calendar for next month was already filling up. The next morning, I sent Aunt Carol a professional invoice. Consulting services rendered $5,000. Then I blocked most of the family's numbers, kept only the few who'd ever shown me genuine respect. For once, their silence didn't hurt me. It freed me. I finally understood. I never needed their approval. I just needed my own. If you've ever had to stand up to family who underestimated you, you know exactly how that moment feels. That mix of fear and power when you finally speak your truth out loud. Has your family ever tried to humiliate you in public? Share your story below. I read every single comment. Where are you watching from? Drop your location. I love seeing where you all are. Hit subscribe if you believe your success doesn't need their approval. You're stronger than they think. Don't ever forget that.